Saudi terrorism after September 11 did not decrease. You say, oh, 15, everybody talks about 15 Saudi hijackers. You know, we should talk about the 2,000 Saudi suicide bombers and terrorists in Iraq that killed the same numbers probably of Americans, soldiers. Most of the suicide bombers in Iraq are Saudis. Most of the foreign terrorist members of Al-Qaeda in Iraq are Saudis, of course. And a few days ago, we found that the suicide bomber who drove his truck into the Danish embassy in Pakistan was what? A Saudi. And who allowed this to happen 7 years after September 11? It's the Saudi government. In 2005, we uncovered, at the time we were called the Saudi Institute, a tape of a senior Saudi minister who was telling Saudis to go to Iraq, raise funds to fight the Americans. We put that tape on NBC during the visit of, at the time, Crown Prince Abdullah, when he was meeting with President Bush, the famous hand-holding thing. What happened? Nothing happened. The man who is the head of the Saudi justice system, who we got the tape, and he admitted this was him on the tape, he still is in his position. You can recruit and raise funds to support Al-Qaeda and kill Americans, and you could still be in your position because what? You are a Saudi official. I think when I was in college, I thought I'm going to create, because I studied political science, I'm going to bring some theories to the political science world. And that is the only thing I came up with, that if you befriend a dictator, and you are comfortable with him, between two countries, you start to take it on his own habit. And I think this is what happened. The United States is not putting Saudi Arabia under scrutiny for its attacks on the US, for its murder of US civilians and soldiers. And why is that? That is a danger to the American democracy and American freedom. And if they are allowed to silence you after killing your own people, I'm not an American, but after killing your own people, when I am a Saudi here in this country, when I see that my government is killing American soldiers and civilians and US land and in Iraq and getting away with it, what do I think? I say, well, is America impotent? Where is Congress? Where is the FBI? Where is Homeland Security? Isn't their job to defend the Constitution and the rights of the Americans? Unfortunately, I was disappointed, to be honest. And I've said that to many American officials. My blood is boiling every day when I see that happen, when we provide evidence after evidence. I will close in few minutes, but I wanted to say that we can't only complain, but we need to have some action. And the first action I think we hope and we can do to stop Saudi Arabia from inflicting damage, not only against its people, they impoverished, but also to protect your country. I don't think Americans have a responsibility to protect the people in Saudi Arabia. They have a responsibility to protect America, and nobody should blame them after that. You know, protect your own country. You're not in charge of protecting other countries. So the plan, I think that will work is, first, is to, like we did to Saddam, when we had the inspection, the United Nations inspection team, Saudi Arabia should be subjected to the same inspection on terrorism, because what they have done is worse than any country in the world. They are responsible for September 11, and they're responsible for the death and mayhem in Iraq. And so we hope that people in this country who defend the United States and freedom and democracy will hopefully get the United States government and other governments to have the United Nations establish an inspection team to look and investigate Saudi Arabia, so they can go to Saudi Arabia and look at the networks of terrorists and recruitments that have damaged the world. Secondly, is to push Saudi Arabia to move away from human rights abuses regarding women, religious freedom, all kinds of human rights violations. And substantial reform must take place. After September 11, we actually have the situation in Saudi Arabia worse on the front of human rights and women's rights and so on. So this must change, and this should be public. September 11 Commission did not do that. When Saudi Arabia, they kept everything secret. All of this information should be public. Thank you very much, and thank you.